Tell BT they could beat it. Yeah, I want to see me on my TV.
Welcome back, everybody. You are still tuned into the Now Morning Show right here on TTT. Remember, we're also on Talk City 91.1 FM, where you could take us with you in your vehicles or on your radio at work if you want to keep in touch with us. And of course, streaming live anywhere in the world, we are on TTT Live online on Facebook, so you can stay with us there as well. Now, we live for local here on TTT, and we love to boast about that. And this morning, I'm going to have a chat with Olivia Wyatt. She's a writer, a director, she's a TV producer, amongst a lot of other things. And we're going to have a wonderful chat this morning. Good morning, Olivia.
Good morning.
Hi, it's great to be chatting with you this morning. Where are you Skyping us from this morning?
I'm actually on my sailboat over in San Diego.
San Diego, wow. And it's dark there now. It's a big contrast of time at this point in time.
Yeah, it's 4:20 a.m.
Wow. All right. So let's find out a little bit about you, because you produced this wonderful film that is called Floating into Fire. But before we go into that, we're going to speak about Olivia a little bit. Tell us a little bit of your background.
I'm a sailor, filmmaker, and writer. I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I don't know, what else would you like to know?
Tell me everything, Olivia. Well, I understand that you are award-winning filmmaker, TV producer, writer, and the USCG certified captain. You do so many things.
Not so many things, but yes, I've made a lot of documentaries, ethnographic documentaries. I've produced a couple of TV shows here in the States, and I got my captain's license last summer.
Oh, well,
so
congratulations
on that. About a year.
All right, so you said you're an ethnographic filmmaker. What took you down that path? What sent you on that journey to becoming an ethnographic filmmaker?
For me, I love communities who live symbiotically with nature. I think there's a lot of knowledge that's being lost just due to modernity. And for me, it's important to preserve that knowledge. So my last film, I lived with a nomadic seafaring community in Thailand and Myanmar who all survived the Indian Ocean tsunami of 2004. And it's half shut underwater, and it specifically looks at their mythology and songs and the ancestral wisdom that's been passed down from generations, because that's what saved them. And so I love sharing stories like that. I love bridging worlds. I love showing that beneath the skin and our clothing and our music, we're all the same.
That is so amazing. You must have so many stories from your travels.
I do, yeah. I've been fortunate. I've gotten to travel to a lot of places, and for work, and yeah, it's been a blessing.
Tell me your one memory that stands out the most to you.
From anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world.
Okay. So the first big journey that I did solo, it was during the Maoist revolution in Nepal. And I got to ride a Royal Enfield all throughout Ropa, which is the area where the war was being fought. And there were a lot of insurgency groups springing up because the Maoists had become the interim government after a 10-year war. And people saw that, and so they started, mimicking what the Maoists did in order to become in power. And so there would be roadblocks for days. I mean, I know people who sat in buses for 10 days on a road, not being able to pass because insurgency groups were lighting tires and burning things in the way. And, I was just on this motorcycle, and because I was a journalist, they would always let me go through, and it was a pretty incredible experience. That was my first time working abroad, covering a story like that. It was a 3-part series that was online on MSNBC and Magnum Photos.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
I could only
That was
imagine. You must have a million stories, and of course, one of the stories that you have right now that you have that you're going to share with us is "Floating into Fire." Tell us a little bit about the film.
yes. So floating in the fire, I delivered a boat from San Blas Islands, Panama, up to Georgia. And when I got there, I met this sailor who had told me about this story. It's based on a true story. A man and his wife sail down to Trinidad for Carnival. Wife leaves man for another guy with a bigger boat.
Oh,
The
that's
man
sad.
goes, yeah, but the man goes to shore and he's celebrating Carnival. He gets a little too drunk, rowing back to his boat at night, loses his oar and gets sucked out to sea and ends up in Venezuela. And around, I think it was 4 days, but no food, no water, hangover, and he starts hallucinating. And for me, I love the story because of the magical realism, because it's true, because it involves love, because it involves sailing. And I also think it says a lot about letting go and how we can almost drown by holding on to this thing that we need to let go of. So that's why I was drawn to the story. And
And we can't wait to see it. And we will be airing it here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. because we live for local, and it's a story that touches Trinidad as well. So I want to thank you so much, Olivia Wyatt, for joining us this morning and sharing with us. And we're really looking forward to seeing the story that you have told through this film, Floating into Fire.
thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you for joining us. You're definitely appreciated, and we look forward to everything that is to come from you as well.
So they can't empty me with the MTV. Tell BET they could beat it. Yeah, I want to see me on my TV.